Right, hey guys, how we doing? Back with another video from Seth the Programmer. I'm very intrigued by this one. Just unfortunate it was uploaded on April Fool's. I'm not sure if this was a genuine video or if this is a joke. But we're going to be checking out, and I kind of can see where it comes from because Naruto, I just don't think can actually beat Goku whatsoever. Like the whole Dragon Ball verse just completely stomps the Naruto verse anyway. There's hardly anyone in Naruto I can think of off the top of my head that can just blow up planets like that, whereas like the base group in Dragon Ball can. That's just my simplistic approach at that. But what do we got here? Why Naruto versus Goku with no limbs, blindfolded, sick and tired is not close. Nerf him down as much as possible to try and give Naruto a fair fight, I guess. But yeah, let's because even Seth's done like the equal stats videos back in the day in Nani as well. So like, right. Anyway, let's check this out.
Two guys wearing orange, black, blue, or adorned with spiky blonde hair and even blue eyes.
Very
They
similar.
both transform, glow, and even become giant monsters.
True.
Naruto vs. Goku is a multi-decade-long meme of a matchup that has generated more discussion than could probably ever be fathomed by mere mortal men, from angry debates on old messages
I reckon there's more Goku versus Superman discussions than there are Goku versus Naruto. I might be wrong, but
boards to thousands of modern-day YouTube videos. As time has gone on, Naruto has grown much more powerful than his prior iterations.
yeah, even Baryon mode. No.
With some pretty respectable statements and feats showcased that apply to him after he has basically started his own Naruto Super type sequel series, which has made things more fun when thinking about these two battling to the death. However, let's be honest, as far as we're concerned right now, this ninja man is just not beating Goku.
No, no chance. No chance.
Probably not ever. So, the internet, having loads of common sense, as always, decided to try and even the playing field and drastically nerfed Goku with more and more handicaps. Say removing a limb, limiting what powers he can and can't use, equalizing stats, putting a blindfold on, etc., etc., etc. Until we have reached this abomination you see before you. Goku, with no arms or legs, blindfolded, with earplugs in, with the heart disease, and directly after a long battle. We're going to be assuming that Goku, which I'll be calling Goku Cripple for this video,
God. Oh God.
is based on current Dragon Ball Super Goku, but without any limbs, considering the time he was created, although it should be noted, the meme format images shown tend to use a Dragon Ball Z Buu Saga Goku render, so if necessary later into the video we could also maybe briefly discuss that specific version, though for now you get the idea.
Yeah.
With that being said, let's settle this debate once and for all. Can Naruto unironically defeat crippled Goku with all of this? To do this, we have to solve and explain a few things. Just how strong are these two anyway? How much stronger than Naruto is Goku at all? Then from there, we have to really deduce just how much of a nerf to Goku is losing all of his limbs. How much of a nerf on top of that is losing his eyesight and hearing?
Can he still use instant transmission? Because he has to do that thing to concentrate, but he closes his eyes when he does it, so he doesn't. It's like, does he just do that to focus? Can he just still?
How much of a nerf is an insane, intense battle usually? What kind of nerf is the heart disease even like? You'd be surprised to know that we actually have the answers to all of these things.
Fantastic.
And they are directly quantifiable, and we have actual answers to all of them. Meaning, we actually really do know how strong Goku Cripple is with almost complete certainty.
Oh my
So
God.
sit back and enjoy learning some as usual. Since we've gone over how strong Goku is compared to Naruto in pretty decent videos in the past, and not a whole lot has changed to be honest, I'll go over this initial rundown pretty briefly, as well as some new Naruto stuff that can potentially be relevant and to give him some benefit of the doubt, so we can get to the main point of why we're all actually here. In terms of raw power, we've all heard this a million times. Goku is a guy who could pretty much evaporate an infinitely sized macrocosm consisting of multiple infinite-sized universal realms in a big ball that then sinks these infinite-sized universal bodies in the sky so massive that a universe is not even visible in comparison. He can do this in base form even by the time of mid-super, when he surpasses Super Saiyan God in his base form, then can multiply his power hundreds of times over with Super Saiyan Blue, and then can multiply it even further with Ultra Instinct as he shakes an infinite realm called the World of Void, alongside Jiren, the strongest mortal in the multiverse. In many videos, I outlined Goku surpassing himself hundreds of thousands of times over in just 40 minutes during the term of the power.
God damn.
And by the time the end of Z rolls around, he does it again. It's worse if you think he surpasses Beerus and Arale who has narrative eraser qualities, and can surpass her own fiction potentially infinitely, kind of like a SpongeBob character, which I outlined here. In terms of speed, he can potentially fight guys faster than instant transmission by the Buu Saga going off this page layout being kind of weird, and the Granola arc potentially as well. With his energy expanding infinitely instantly, even lowballing, he scales to guys who can fly around the infinite macrocosm in minutes, with travel speed itself not even being Dragon Ball's strong suit on top of that. Naruto, on the other hand, by the time Momoshiki rolls up in Boruto, is rivaling or surpassing Kaguya, who can nuke at bare minimum a large planetary dimension to possibly a solar system, because of stars shown in the distance in some of these dimensions, a nebula, galaxy, or perhaps even larger if you use some of the video games like Storm. Some will argue Momoshiki straight up created his dimension rather than conquered it, in which case there are many stars in the Momoshiki arc as seen here, when Boruto and Naruto finish him off with a father-son Rasengan, TM, making his dimension highballing at least multiple solar systems large and possibly galactic scales. Some anime guides will even call these dimensions isekais, or parallel worlds. So if you assume it's a parallel universe that Momoshiki can bring energy from beyond, or he created them, then that could be, say, a universal feat. If you really, really want to wank, which against Goku Cripple, we will be giving to Naruto.
Oh, wow. Okay. God damn.
Naruto then alongside Sasuke can face down against Momoshiki while heavily nerfed from having his energy stolen, around 50% or so. And with Baryon mode, he surpasses even Ishiki, who is so strong, he can blitz Naruto and Sasuke at full power, and easily surpasses Momoshiki 1v1. Even when Ishiki was extremely nerfed in his Jigen state, he was literally flying through Sasuke Susanoo like Superman and taking them both down 2v1 with almost no effort. For this video, we'll be giving Naruto unlimited Baryon mode, so he simply has access to all scaling of these higher tier characters, said maybe Shibai and so forth, but that's for another day, so stay tuned.
Okay.
In terms of speed, the novels such as Kakashi Retsuden have Jonin and special Jonin level characters attacking at the speed of light, with a chakraless, heavily fatigued Naruto even reacting to photons that also launch at the speed of light. These special Jonin are then surpassed by a character named Kido, who multiplies his strength and potentially speed 8,000 times over, and Sakura, who is Baryon mode Naruto's clear inferior, can actually face him. There's also an anime special where Hagoromo hides polar particles in a meteor, which he hides and places within a different constellation at potentially hundreds to thousands of times the speed of light, depending on how long you think this took him. With our foundation laid, we can go into further detail about how much shorter Goku's level will be with all of these factors stated from earlier. Goku is clearly massively stronger in all stats, even if you said Baryon mode Naruto was a hypothetical universe buster, it just wouldn't really matter. So let's put those nerfs on Goku and even out the playing field. The first one, the loss of all his limbs. Can Goku fight without limbs? Does he actually need them for a...
This is gonna be so intriguing. He can headbutt. Ugh. He can bite. He bites a lot in his fights. I don't know.
conflict with Naruto? Shockingly, we actually see this directly shown in the series and the exact scaling connotations it has. In original Dragon Ball during the 23rd Budokai Tenkaichi arc, where Son Goku confronts the son of King Piccolo, Jr., also known as the Piccolo we all know of. During this fight, it is made really clear how far Piccolo and Goku are above everyone else in the story, as it is somewhat foreshadowing and establishing the next saga of the story. The Budokai Tenkaichi means and is the strongest under the heavens martial arts tournament, but you'll notice that this time the final combatants are just that, beings from the heavens raised on Earth to their unawares. So when Goku fights this, he is now ready to challenge the strongest in the heavens themselves, which introduces us to that whole alien saga and blah blah blah.
Oh, I'm reacting to the original Dragon Ball series, by the way, on my Patreon page. If you want to see that, the link to the Patreon page is in the description.
So for Goku to show he is ready for the next part, he actually has to prove he alone is the Tenkaichi winner, while also having Piccolo, a threat to the world that realistically can still
This is kind of spoiling it, but never mind.
win against Goku in, say, a tournament setting, such as a ring out, as we all know he's not actually going to kill Goku. This is established a few ways by Toriyama, in which many people threaten to jump Piccolo mid-match, such as Kami blocking a hit for Goku, and Goku letting Piccolo haymaker him for free to set up for it. Everyone in the tournament is trying to jump Piccolo when Goku is on his last leg, and it being implied he's still above all of them even while barely being able to stand. And yes, Son, literally surpassing everyone in the story so far, with literally zero use of his limbs and a massive hole in his chest, almost on par with Whitebeard from One Piece and Marineford or Obito during the Naruto Shippuden War arc, he literally surpasses the whole story up to that point and pretty much a pseudo-god while having no limbs or function of his body. A story full of moonbusters up to that point and even a guardian of the whole planet who could create these moons, many of which surpass the speed of lightning and probably even the speed of light going off of certain translations from data books like Dragon Ball Forever or Daizenshu. But how strong was this crippled Goku to them really? The few indicators are like this, and generally all say something similar. Son and Junior were about 50% power at one point in the fight, and were still in a complete league of power different than the rest of the cast. This is shortly after the Super Kamehameha, Kami trying to block one of Piccolo's punches for Goku, and then them beginning to blitz Kami until they exhaust themselves. Meaning at full strength, they are way over twice as powerful as Kami. Junior states that his power has multiplied many times since they last fought, the last being Ultra Divine Water Goku versus King Piccolo. This coincides with Tien thinking he can outspeed someone on King Piccolo's level after the time skip, although he thinks he can't match them in strength. This may imply that the multiplier from King Piccolo to Junior at max is over 3 times, as if it were 2 times, it would just say doubled or multiplied, and if it was just 3 times, they would say several, but they say multiplied many times, implying it might be over 2 times. In terms of official numbers, this is actually supported, as Son Goku reaches a power level of 910 in V-Jump with his Super Kamehameha or his max strength during this tournament, which Piccolo can survive with his own attack with intense difficulty, their stamina not even depleting too noticeably after this beam struggle. Power levels in Dragon Ball being just an objective number given to a certain strength level of ki detected, and in databook or guide form, it's just the official number given we know of. After fighting much longer from the half-power statement, it's confirmed that Junior can take on over 100 Master Roshis, Tiens, Krillins, etc., with Kami even helping them, which Roshi agrees to. By the way, one Roshi can do this.
The sky! It's been demooned! It's gone!
Then after all of this, while Piccolo's at half power, he uses his final gamble, which is a power Goku has never felt before. With these power levels, you can lowball and highball, and Kami at the start of Dragon Ball Z has a power level of 220 due to his 5-year time skip nerf, and a power level of over 260 by the 23rd Budokai, as he surpasses the Goku who could fight King Piccolo at 260. Goku goes from anywhere from 910 to above 260 and beyond after losing access to all his limbs, taking immense damage, and so forth. Meaning after being crippled and just getting through an immensely difficult battle, meaning 2 of the prerequisites of the meme, he was still at over 1/4 of his maximum strength. And this is also, surprisingly, immensely consistent with Toriyama's intent for the way ki control and strength work in the series. In quote, "In battle, the most important thing is the size of your ki and your control over it. Ki as a concept, of course, includes such spiritual powers such as Genki, energy, or courage, Yuki, and right-mindedness, Shoki. No matter how much you train, there are limits to physical strength, and the only way to overcome that is through ki. I think Goku was able to approach the mightiest warriors in the universe through strengthening his ki."
Right.
End quote. Should be noted that energy, or Genki, can be referring to health and vigor, which I find particularly relevant for this video. Basically, with your body's physical status and energy actually only relating to 1/3 of your overall ki output and function, or just a piece of the formula that is then amplified by your spirit. For Naruto fans who don't understand, this is sort of like how in Naruto they manifest chakra through their own mental and physical energies, and then Sage Chakra would be adding Senjutsu to the mix and creating a little concoction. Dragon Balls just includes more components for the energy in general. This is why when Gohan loses an arm against Super Perfect Cell, blocking for Vegeta, his ki does in fact drop, but not as much as Gohan thinks, with the biggest hit actually being to his right-mindedness and courage, or his Shoki and Yuki, thus negating or removing his ability to maximize his ki output. So Goku, with huge hits to his body's ability to function, a big drop in energy, and still wanting to win the tournament, could still exert enough power to put down Piccolo when even the God of Earth could not. This would also explain why Goku is more confident in Gohan's ability to fight Cell than Gohan is, as he has direct experience with something worse than what Gohan is going through. It's worse if you think their power levels are more akin to what Raditz scans at the start of Dragon Ball Z, only reaching the 400-ish or high 300s, which in the case Goku may be at over half strength even when crippled. Daizenshu also gives the Raditz numbers as well, but there is a weird side narrative where the Super Kamehameha power level of 910 during the 23rd Budokai is more so a concentrated strength reading that Vegeta suggests as a fault in Raditz's assumptions about Earth's strength to Nappa a bit later. So it's weird that the Daizenshu kind of uses these nerfed base levels rather than their hypothetical max powers, but I suppose it'd be kind of weird to assume what those would be. Power levels can also be exponential, but you'll notice during the Saiyan Saga, around when Kaioken is introduced, they become a lot more linear. Example, Kaioken times 2 Goku goes from 8,000 to 16,000, just below the 18,000 Vegeta, thus needing 3 times to surpass that, 24,000. It's also the safest assumption, but if you want to get crazy and say Goku crippled gets to like 1/1000 full strength or something, it doesn't really change a lot of things, which I'll get into soon. With that, that's at bare minimum the first criteria met. Goku, while crippled and with a massive battle under his belt, can still reasonably be at over 1/4 his total power. The next two on the checklist are a lot less complex, weirdly enough. Can Goku defeat Naruto with a blindfold on and with earbuds in? I think pretty much every Dragon Ball fan on planet Earth will answer the blindfold question without the need for this video. Goku can sense where you are without sight due to being able to sense your vital energies, or ki, and he learns this while training on Kami's Lookout with Mr. Popo, but he actually goes further than you'd think.
Wow.
During the Buu Saga, Goku faces off against a character named Yakon, with an evil wizard named Babidi using his magic to transport them to Yakon's home planet, which has no light. During this, we learn that Goku can actually sense where you are by sensing vibrations in the air, and then countering, which he does against Yakon in just base form. This is a useful statement because it implies it's not just based on sensing the unique energy in Dragon Ball. This is actually further elaborated on when Goku's son Gohan in Dragon Ball Super has to learn Goku's more enhanced and experienced type of non-ki sensing in the Z exhibition match against another universe with different energy. Another reason I love the Dragon Ball Super anime more than the manga. During this, Gohan gets blinded and poisoned, and can still fight his opponent, Lavender, who potentially rivals or surpasses even good Majin Buu, with high precision until his poison debuff starts to wear him down. Even feeling the slightest movement on his hair, moving at probably much faster than light speeds, allows Gohan to react to this guy, and he is far inferior to Goku in terms of fight skill at this point in the series. In fact, Gohan during this fight is actually called rusty and often called ill-trained and out of shape. It's actually a big meme in the community.
He doesn't train properly.
Goku can also react to things that don't even technically exist. Example, during his Beerus fight, he reacts to Beerus about to kill him in an instant, even though he can't sense Beerus' energy and Beerus hasn't even moved. This is implied to be an introduction to Ultra Instinct, which is why Beerus asks Goku if he is some type of genius and grows more interested in him. This instinct is then further shown and foreshadowed where Goku can fight Hit while he basically teleports in from the future by just using raw intuition and instinct against a guy who has more years of experience and he can't sense actually appearing. By current Dragon Ball, Goku can actually use Ultra Instinct in his lesser forms and even a tad bit in his base, but can use the Ultra Instinct transformations at will. Obviously, the earbuds aren't a nerf, since hearing was never a part of any of these equations to begin with.
Yeah, it's sensing it, isn't it?
In fact, hearing is one of the less utilized senses in Dragon Ball, with Android 17 and Piccolo being the only real standouts in this category. Well, that and they can just kind of yell at each other from sometimes multiple football fields of distance away and have a perfectly cohesive conversation somehow, no matter where they are. Most interesting as well is the more in dire straits Goku is in, the more the instinct actually comes out. As shown during the Tournament of Power, this means his body's terrible physical condition might bring out more instinct rather than less against Naruto. Finally, is the disadvantage Goku would have with the heart disease, also known as the viral heart disease or infection.
I mean, this is going to be interesting. I want to know how he calcs, like, how the heart disease, like, what percentage or what fraction of his power is he at when the heart disease kicks in? Because we only see it when he's against 19, isn't it? Android 19. Yeah.
This one is pretty weird one to scale and is probably the hardest, so you'll have to play ball with me a little bit here, because it is the most assumption-based, as the only time we actually see it displayed is arguably in one of the most vague scaling points in the series. Right after power levels drop off, but before we get any real numbers for transformations or forms, etc. Overall, you'll find people say the most different things around this point and maybe the Buu arc when it comes to the original Dragon Ball series, and in the video games such as the Budokai series, viral heart disease was a debuff skill you could put on your character that would drastically decrease your HP as you fought, basically giving you and your opponent a self-imposed time limit gimmick, and in the anime it's somewhat similar, with Goku gradually losing time and power to fight as he boxes up Android 19 with Super Saiyan until he collapses. This really didn't help in this situation particularly because Android 19 has an interesting ability to absorb ki. So if Goku shot a ki blast and a bunch of his ki reserves he needed to use sparingly in this moment, it would just drain from Goku stats and then buff 19 stats until he multiplies his strength. With Sun not really so sure about what 19 even did at that time. It's also confirmed in both this fight and in Dragon Ball Super that Super Saiyan seems to have a weird debuff with your immune system. You'd imagine normally that a power-up would say increase the power of your cells or your metabolism.
But like your immune system is then just like kind of like, we can't cope with everything else we're meant to be doing for the body.
The disease be fought a little bit better. But it seems to only increase the spread of the disease or poison's effects without actually aiding in its removal in any way. If anything, putting strain on your body, especially at this point in the series where this is not mastered Super Saiyan. The way Vegeta describes Android 19 versus Goku is Goku putting strain on his heart with Super Saiyan. So how do we calculate how much weaker it actually even made him? Did it make him that much weaker? We could try to make some scaling lines between Yardrat Goku versus Android Saga Goku, but it's not too fun, maybe to lead into Tien calling sick heart disease Super Saiyan Goku in a different dimension from him still. Even though Tien sensed Goku versus Trunks before the training skip, he doesn't seem to sense anything abnormal or weak about this heart disease Goku. Unlike Piccolo, who trained with Sun personally for 3 years, and Vegeta, who knows how strong Goku should probably be. Everyone else still assumes Goku's in God mode way beyond their comprehension, showing he's probably still in a class or higher than what he displayed against Trunks around the time of Mecha Frieza's arrival. Mecha Frieza uses over 10 times the power he used to destroy Namek on Super Saiyan Trunks in the anime guides with his Supernova attack, and Trunks in the future timeline faces off against androids that can take down future Gohan, future Super Saiyan Vegeta, and so on, just using less than half power, and finally going above that to defeat Gohan in the end. Whereas in the present, Vegeta faces off against a stronger Android 18 at arguably full power, and then loses due to not having infinite stamina. It's then pretty much confirmed that Vegeta is stronger than Goku, even if Goku wasn't sick. However, something to note is that Piccolo only says he might have surpassed Goku, which is a very important statement as it means he's more so inching for Vegeta to be stronger, meaning they're probably still somewhat in a similar league, with Vegeta tipping the scale slightly more in his favor. This is useful as we see sick Goku and Vegeta both fight the same guy right after one another, leading us to a much more useful method than trying to power scale training gains. Goku is fatigued before he even starts fighting 19, actually. Panting, his heart is freaking out, even just flying to the battlefield is kind of exhausting. He's able to surpass all of Jiro's calculations and make Tien think he is still in a whole dimension of power above him. The problem then becomes, Sun didn't know that 19 could absorb ki, so when he shoots a Kamehameha to finish 19 or damage him, 19 drains that, multiplies his power, then gets the upper hand as Sun falls short from his sickness. Then Vegeta, who is slightly greater than not sick Goku, has to fight the same 19, but now multiplied in strength. 19 can actually draw blood from Vegeta, with Vegeta then bullying him and ripping his arms off even after getting loads of energy stolen, then obliterating him with a Big Bang attack when he can't absorb energy anymore. He then has to bluff to Android 20 or Dr. Gero that he can fight still, when Gero would have mopped him easily, meaning this multiplied 19 with the drain on Vegeta briefly could take him almost a fraction of his strength. This is pretty meaningful considering 19's only amp to draw blood from Vegeta, despite Vegeta normally being strong enough to no-diff him, came from sick Goku.
Right.
Multiply is a subjective word, and at the bare minimum he became 2 times stronger. Usually when a character gets 3 times stronger, it would be stated to be several times greater, with 4 times and higher being multiplied multiple times over, usually. By the time you get to 10 times, it can still fall under the term multiplied, but that is when it starts to shift to orders of magnitude difference. This is shown in, say, Bleach guidebooks with, say, Ulquiorra's Cero Oscuros, or with Ulquiorra's Black Cero, with over 24 times being dozens and so forth. In Dragon Ball Super, Batara is even called dozens of times greater or tens of times, so multiplied is a weird term. But it should be noted that 19 was already somewhat in a tier to even take a punch from Goku before his main decline in strength, and Goku was above him, as he started off the bat going all out. You also have to take Gero into account. He says, "You've already multiplied your strength, you're so greedy." But if 19 got, say, 100 times stronger or something, he would have probably had a much different outlook with that statement, with Gero being a bit stronger than 19 off the start, just like Vegeta was a bit stronger than Goku. That being said, it's safe to say the heart virus probably didn't nerf him more than, say, a Super Saiyan buff, as Piccolo himself reaching Super Saiyan levels.
I can't help but feel that something's gone on with the video. Certain things are out of time here.
Trained to fight Super Saiyan Goku in the manga covers, not base Goku. It's very unlikely base Goku could have done much here, just like base Gohan was stated by Piccolo to be no match for Gero. So for this video, we'll give the heart disease a 50 times nerf to Goku's starting stats, which is
I'm hearing noises and they're not matching up with the video. What's going on?
very critical based on the term multiplied, and honestly makes zero sense with the narrative considering what Vegeta literally does right after this. Now that we have all the data laid out, let's put some numbers on this abomination. We can stack the debuffs on top of one another and actually get a pretty extreme downplayed version of what he'd actually be for video's sake, just so everyone will agree. You divide his strength by 50 times, putting him at 2% strength for the viral heart disease, which as we outlined is kind of stretching it. It should be much less of a nerf at first. Then you take away his limbs and make him fatigued like he was in the 23rd Budokai, and divide his strength to either 0.5% if you think he was around 1/4 when he slammed Piccolo, or 0.002% if
something's happened.
You really wanted to stretch it to an unrealistic degree. We went over earlier that being blinded and with earbuds won't actually really change anything, so that doesn't really need to be calculated. You guys have to remember some characters like Vegito can literally be turned into a chocolate ball and still whoop on a guy that can scream away the universe into oblivion.
Yeah, it's kind of out, so I need to try and not take in what's on screen, but take in what's being said more.
Which is much worse than this example. That ability only applies to Vegito, but Dragon Ball characters tend to be extremely nerfed a lot of the time. Even at 0.002% strength, if a full power Goku surpasses himself from Battle of Gods potentially millions of times over, these nerfs don't really do anything for the outcome of the fight. It's arguable Goku uses less strength than this during the Tournament of Power against multiple people and was so fatigued at points that he couldn't even go Super Saiyan, which is almost as natural as his base form at that point in the series as he has Master Super Saiyan. And not only that, but Ultra Instinct is never stated to amplify poisons or diseases, with Goku being able to access Instinct the more he's in a pinch and damaged, rather than the reverse. With him going Omen for the first time after his body was basically almost vaporized by his own Spirit Bomb against Jiren. By Super, it may be arguable Goku can restart and actually manipulate his own heart with Ki, such as when he healed his literal crushed and destroyed heart post-mortem after being assassinated by a hit. He can focus poisons and things in his body probably like Vegito can, and so much more. So not only does the heart disease do less at this point in the series, but he may be able to circumvent its effects more than in the Android Saga as an example, and thus can fight longer with it. All in all, even with no limbs, Goku can Ki, Mug, Naruto and obliterate him with the sheer stat check between them, and he can also shoot Mouth Blast if you think he couldn't just blast through him with a weird headbutt motion or a Ki barrier. The only way Naruto realistically really wins is if the heart virus is in the stage where Goku is bedridden. Then Naruto will have to pray Goku doesn't wake up, glare his ki in a quick burst at him really hard before laying back down, and shake the whole universe and obliterate him. Anyway, you guys get the idea. Hope you enjoyed the video. I had a great time watching it, so be sure to subscribe and look out for more, and have a wonderful day.
Do you not mean making it? You had a great time making it. No, I mean, cool if you enjoyed watching your own video. But that was very interesting. That was really cool. I do like that. Like, I thought it was going to be a complete joke, but it does seem like, yeah, he's just got in and just gone, yeah, this is a really weird way of looking at Naruto versus Goku, and he would win with no limbs, blindfolded, or if he was sick. But yeah, cool. Thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video, I want to be able to watch patron-only reactions. Link in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is all I ask to help support the channel. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch to discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys all, you guys. Damn.